everybody, my name is Kachi Shivchuk and welcome back to Miscat Squad. Today we're going to be talking about controversial subjects in young adult fiction, manga, comics, you name it. Now, as you guys know, I read a ton of very dark, twisted YA fiction. I read any type of YA fiction, and if it resonates with me, I will love it. If you guys have realized, there's a ton of things that people do not like to talk about, discuss, or even mention in any type of conversation. It's just as bad as mentioning politics in a dinner conversation and losing friends over it. Never mention politics in a dinner conversation, or you, of course, will lose friends. There's a lot of topics that people don't want to even poke with a 10-foot pole. Tokyo Ghoul, as we know, is not for the pre-teens or like 13, 14, 15-year-olds. No, Tokyo Ghoul is definitely for 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, so on and so forth. It is for the young adult side. It's not for the younger young adult side. It's for that young adult side. When you go into my library, they do have Tokyo Ghoul, and they have Tokyo Ghoul Re, and it's labeled YA, but it's like labeled there and put in a certain section where the older teens will take it out, not the younger teens, because again, Tokyo Ghoul discusses a ton of controversial subjects that some teens, number one, won't understand, or just end up like dealing with a lot in their life and looking things up and getting stressed out about. So those labels on those books, that's why they're there for. I, for one, think if you're old enough and mature enough to read and or pick up a book and understand it, that's your level of maturity. There's a lot of controversial things that happen in this fiction, and people take it to heart. Now, if you're thinking about, like, Perks of Being a Wallflower, that's one of my favorite novels, young adult novels, there's a lot of controversial things that do happen in that novel, such as there's drug use, there's mentions of abuse, there's mention of sexual abuse and everything like that, and a lot of people back then, when it was published, it was like, yo, you can't put that out there, you can't do that. And some people were like, it should be banned, or this should go on. Like, it was wrong to think like that. Like, Perks of Being a Wallflower is a wonderful novel, and if you've seen the movie, it's also wonderful. I prefer the novel over the movie, but it is a type of book that should be read by people, should be read by teens, because it's a type of topic that people should really understand. I see this go on. And even with the newer YA, it's like there's controversy type material there that people don't want in their schools. And that's not okay. Like, that's, again, it's your level of maturity. Now, you guys may disagree with me, but I, for one, think if you're mature enough to read about a subject, then you could read about a subject. So recently in Tokyo Ghoul, as we've noticed, going back to Tokyo Ghoul, because it's one of my favorite series, you'll notice, again, Tokyo Ghoul mentions a lot of things about politics. Tokyo Ghoul mentions a lot of things about controversial subjects, but it also, when characters have certain developments, a lot of people can't handle it. When Kaneki and Toka had an intimate moment in the relationship, a lot of people couldn't handle that because, like, this shouldn't be allowed. Now, okay, hold on for a second. So in a lot of YA that I do read, there are intimate moments between the characters, and that's fine because, again, it's labeled YA for a reason. Now, if you guys have ever read the Twilight Saga, you'll notice that there's a huge intimate moment in the saga when it continues in towards the end. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about. If you've read the book, you seriously know what I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to manga and or basic literature, some people get more offended when it comes to manga because they see it. Now, in Tokyo Ghoul, you didn't see that much, but it was enough to trigger certain people. And it's not okay to really say, like, okay, you can't do this, because if the author wants to put that into his series, which is for young adults and adults, which is for older people, then it's completely fine. Like John Green's novels, you'll see that there are intimate moments with these characters, and it's the author's choice to put that. It's not the fans, it's not anybody else's. The editor may have something to say about that, but it is always the author's choice. If it calls for that, if the character development is right, if it's there right put in front of you, if you're like, okay, that's gonna happen, it's their choice. So that when like intimate relationships happen in series, people get very offended. Now, with John Green, if you're familiar with John Green's like Fault in Our Stars or Paper Towns, especially Looking for Alaska, there was a lot of controversy that goes on throughout these novels because there are scenes that a lot of people did not approve of. Now, I get it. Personally, I get it why people think like this, but it's another reason just to just accept what the author was trying to get out there and to say, just like with Tokyo Ghoul, or if like Attack on Titan never has any scenes like that, or any type of series that has a scene like that in manga or comics, those labels that say YA are there for a reason. Whether it's a violent scene or a scene when our character dies, now that is when it gets a little too overboard. When a character dies and the author decides, okay, it's their time. It's time to kill off these characters. This is when a lot of people cannot handle it. Now, there's been death threats. Like, if you are a fan of Naruto, if you've seen what happened to the creator of Naruto, what he had to go through, he was sent letters and death threats because not only did some characters die, but he paired two characters together that a lot of people did not like. Same with Bleach. You see how those two characters got together at the end. I'm not spoiling it or saying anything because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But you'll see at the end, these characters got together and a lot of people couldn't handle it. But all these topics that people do mention, again, it's the author's choice. Now, when you're a published author, traditionally you have an editor to back you up, and the editor is kind of like saying, okay, slow down. We're not going to add that there because that doesn't make sense, or okay, no, that's going to come in later because they're too young, or okay, that's not going to happen until later on because that's not even making any sense right now. So, these types of series, what people need to understand is they go through not only the author, but the author's agent, the author's editor, the author's publisher, and then other people who proofread it. So it goes through these series, like it goes through a series of events and this like kind of trials where everyone gets to pick it up and read it and see if it's appropriate or not for this age level. So those labels are there for a reason. And if you read any of those series, you probably already know what scenes and what type of things that I'm talking about. Your guys' opinions are welcome here. This is what's fun about the squad. We always talk about everything, and sometimes you may agree, you may disagree, or you may agree to disagree. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, Miss Cats, until the next video, embrace your inner fangirl and your inner fanboy every single day.